Hey, what's up everyone? darthjarjar here. The first thing I want to do is thank you guys for your support. I recently hit 500 subscribers, and I'm planning on putting a lot more time into YouTube. This is going to be my first video that's not just a highlight from my Twitch stream, and I plan on having a lot more of those in the future. So tell your friends, spread the word. Really hope you enjoy. Let me know in the comments what type of content you're looking for. For example, if you're looking for mostly just Three Musketeer gameplay, if you're looking for all types of gameplay, maybe if you're looking for more deck guides or even drafts, let me know if you're interested in drafts like the one I put up a few days ago, the free-for-all draft. Anyways, getting into the content of today's video, today was the first day of the season, and I decided as a level 12 without max commons to try an ambitious goal of pushing into the top 200. As you can see on the screen, we made it into the top 200. I'm not currently in the top 200 actually. This is a screenshot of earlier today. I just wanted to show you guys that I did make it barely. Mostly surrounded by level 13s there, or level 12 with max commons, but we did end up making it. Anyway, so now back to the current time, and I'm going to show you some battles, some replays of the last two battles that I played to kind of show you. Both of them are against max players, how you're going to want to beat max players on ladder. So going into the first match, I'm up against D5D from 420. Looking at my opening hand, whenever I have the elixir pumping in, I'm always going to want to start with that and then react to whatever he plays. So I do end up playing the elixir pump there, and D5D starts out with the golem. So what I'm thinking about right now is, how am I going to get the damage per second down necessary to stop this golem? So I see that Three Musketeers is my next card, and I'm gonna start by placing the knight here, planning to place my Three Musketeers in the center. The knight will kind of just get out here, tank the support behind his golem while my Three Musketeers do work on it. So I do end up placing the knight in the back, and shortly I'll end up following through on my plan. I'm gonna place the Three Musketeers in the middle. I split one the opposite direction just in case he has something like fireball. I don't want to get him to get a too easy fireball on all three of my musketeers. So I make sure one walks away while two shoot at that golem. Here I see I can get extremely valuable log. I throw it in, I hit the golem, I hit the dark goblin, I hit the spear goblin. This was a mistake by him allowing me to get this valuable of a log. However, I am not able to log on the other side, but still. As the goblin barrel comes in, you can't always just give up when you don't have your direct counter, such as the log in hand. You have to be creative, so I decided to ice spirit skeletons here, I believe, or ice golem skeletons. His dark golem does end up getting a lot of damage, but if you look at the elixir counts, they're about even, but I have the pump down. So, and I have this on the field, he's forced to log. So I am ahead in elixir. You always got to count for what's on the field, what pumps are down. My tower is taking a lot of damage, especially from that dark goblin and the goblin barrel, but I'm going to plan to, now that I know he has that goblin barrel, maybe be a bit more conservative with the log, or if I use the log, just make sure to be ready to counter that goblin barrel and that dark goblin. So again, we're going through back the same cycle. Whenever you're playing a game, you always want to remember how the last cycle went, see if you want to adjust it or keep it similar. I decided that I wanted to keep it pretty similar. I didn't really have many other options, honestly, as well, just kind of using the knight, using the one musketeer this time, and sending the two musketeers the other way. The reason I do this is I'm still not sure that he doesn't have something like fireball in his deck, so I don't want to send two musketeers towards the golem, have it be fireball zapped or fireball logged, and then have a really tough time stopping that golem. So here I ready the log. I think, let's see what I'm doing. Do I? Yeah, so you see I did have the log selected, and I was ready to log that skeleton army as soon as it came out. Whenever your opponent has played a skeleton army, you have to be ready with that log on the two musketeer side. Sometimes when I'm very confident they're waiting to skeleton army it, I even log before the skeleton army comes out, hoping to hit it right as my musketeers cross the bridge. This time I didn't quite get that, but because I wasn't positive that he was going to play the skeleton army, but I did have it ready in hand, ready to drop as soon as I saw that skeleton army, and that was enough to keep my two musketeers alive and doing lots of damage on his tower. I send in the knight right here, another knight, because otherwise his mega minion would have killed my musketeer. I really wanted to keep it alive. Then I send in the skeletons to just get some extra DPS on that golem. I think that was actually a misplay because they immediately died.
So yeah, I think that was a bit of a misplay, but I am gonna send down this Ice Golem to tank that Mega Minion, fairly straightforward there. My log doesn't even kill his Dark Goblin actually, so that I do end up giving up that tower. However, once you take down a tower with 3 Musketeers, especially against kind of opponents you can tell maybe aren't as skilled as a lot of opponents, you want to be looking to drop those 3 Musketeers in the pocket on their side and really put the game away that way. So after he commits something like a Golem in the back, it's a great time to drop the 3 Musketeers down. I know he's going to drop the Skeleton Army, so I drop the Ice Spirit to support it. At this point, I've kind of figured out that he doesn't have something like Fireball, Lightning, or something like that. And whenever you figure that out against a higher level opponent, it's a huge opportunity, because that means you can get those 3 Musketeers down all on one side on defense without having to worry about spells hitting them from afar. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to immediately cycle as fast as I can to my 3 Musketeers. And once I get my 3 Musketeers down, they're going to do a very large amount of DPS on this Golem. I use my log, and he's smart. He actually plays another Golem. I use my Ice Spirit to tank, and he smartly plays a Skeleton Army to kind of try to do damage, because he has no other options to do damage to my 3 Musketeers. But I do end up putting down the Knight to tank that Skeleton Army, and 2 of my Musketeers survive. As you can see, when you just have multiple Musketeers defending and they don't have any spells, it's really tough for them. Meanwhile, these Musketeers end up taking out the Goblin Barrel. I don't think that was a very wise Goblin Barrel from him. And again, as I said, with the less experienced players, 3 Musketeers in the pocket are much more likely to get them than with more experienced players. And so I do end up taking the win there. By experience, I mean really skilled in the competitive scene, or kind of high for their trophy levels. This guy is pretty high, but in my opinion, he wasn't too skilled. He probably reaches a decent amount each season, but not really one of the top ladder players in terms of skill. So yeah, that game just really showed you how you can recognize when your opponent doesn't have Fireball or Lightning in their deck, and that's when you want to start playing those 3 Musketeers down all in the same lane and really punish them. Next, we're going to go against Old Man from Nova, Canada. He's running this Barb Hut 3 Musketeers deck. He's also fully maxed. This was a game that put us into the top 200. So again, we have Pump in our opening hand, so we did get a bit lucky, you could say, in both these battles. But I think the luck is deserved, given the fact that we do not have any max commons and we're facing people with all max cards. He leaks a bit of elixir and then puts the Barbarian Hut down. We're going to stop the first wave of Barbarians with these skeletons. I'd recommend, with this new meta, including skeletons in almost every deck, honestly. They're just so good with 4 skeletons. I put a Knight down, and here, I'm not looking to get these 3 Musketeers. I'm looking to cycle to another Elixir Pump. I'm not looking to build up a big push early, especially with that Barb Hut on the field. I just want to use my log, cycle back to my Elixir Pump, and get the Elixir advantage in the early game. So I'm going to get another Elixir Pump, and he doesn't really have anything to do with it against it, since he just used his Fireball. Ice Golem comes down just to kind of tank here. I didn't have much better option at the time. And here's a perfect example of where you can play the 3 Musketeers on defense. He doesn't have Fireball in hand, and you need to help defending on both sides. So the 3 Musketeers are going to come down here. We're going to do a lot of DPS on that Hog. I put down the Skeletons to help, and the Hog doesn't even get one swing. I make sure to tank for this side just to force him to do something about it, really, besides a Fireball. But he does end up cycling back to his Fireball. He has to log and Fireball. And he still takes a lot of damage from the Knight. I sent in the Miner here to kind of press my advantage. Sorry, I was trying to pause there, but I kind of sensed that he was low on Elixir, and that I had the Elixir advantage. Sometimes you just gotta have that instinct, and I sent in the extra Ice Spirit, I sent in the extra Miner, and it does end up paying off decently. My Miner gets off a lot of damage. I end up having to log these archers. One thing you always want to be aware of when you're facing higher levels is I have level 12 skeletons. That means they get one shot by they would just get wrecked by these level 13 archers. Actually, I'm not sure if it actually makes a difference. I think it does make a difference. It definitely makes a difference with the Ice Spirit. I might be confusing them, honestly. That's my bad. But just for example, let's say my opponent was playing a Musketeer here, and I was trying to stop it with an Ice Spirit. If I know that my Ice Spirit is level 12 and his Musketeer is level 11, my Ice Spirit isn't going to do anything. So the point I was trying to make there is just be aware of kind of where you have the level disadvantage and where you don't.
and where that level difference is going to matter more than it normally does. Anyways, cycling, and once I defend that Mega Minion, I'm finally safe to put down another pump. Whenever you want to pump up, I think you can. He goes very aggressive here, kind of sensing that I'm low on elixir. So kind of a nice job by him. I really didn't have much in terms of options. I kind of just throw everything down that I have at it, cycle back to those skeletons, and I eventually stop it, but not before it gets several swings. However, notice that by just doing that defense, I've cycled back to another elixir pump. Here's where it gets kind of weird. He plays the 3 Musketeers. One option I could do is just kind of defend each side without using the 3 Musketeers, but I think a better option is to use the 3 Musketeers to help on defense and then turn that into a counter push, which is what I do. So I place the 3 Musketeers on, I place 2 on this side and 1 on this side, and then I place the Ice Golem down as soon as I can to tank that Musketeer. I actually don't end up really getting a counter push, but I do get a good trade considering that he did fireball my Musketeers and all the extra ice spam was just that Ice Golem. I do end up putting another elixir pump in the back just because I know he doesn't have fireball in hand, so I won't really get punished by him fireballing both of these. His cycle's not that quick. And I'm going to build up another 3 Musketeer push. Whenever I build up large 3 Musketeer pushes, I'm going to start with the Knight in the back. I'm not going to start with the 3 Musketeers up here because I want to build up as big a push as I can. I also want to spend longer building up the push to force them to attack into me so I can defend and then counterattack. He fireballs and only hits one of my Musketeers, although he does push into the other lane, so it's kind of an interesting choice by him. Allows him to defend them all in the same lane, which is usually better, but the Musketeer does lock on. And here we're cycling over to another 3 Musketeers. And my Miner, meanwhile, is getting off a lot of damage. That last push got enough damage, and we really just have to make sure he doesn't take our tower, and he's not going to get it easily. So we did end up winning that game against Old Man. So one final thing I'm going to discuss about how to beat over-leveled opponents, getting into that top 200 without any max commons, is you have to say your priorities for which cards you're going to request. I know that I'm a 3 Musketeer player. I've been playing 3 Musketeers for the most part on ladder for a long time. So what I did is I requested 3 Musketeers for several months straight. I think at least 6 months straight. And I requested only 3 Musketeers, and now my 3 Musketeers never gets one shot by a fireball. What used to happen was 2 of my Musketeers would usually get one shot by my opponent's fireball once I got high enough up on ladder, and that was kind of the most important interaction in my deck. So I requested 3 Musketeers over and over again, eventually got them to max level, and now no fireballs can one-shot my 3 Musketeers, which allows me to push a lot higher. So really prioritize your requests based on which interactions are important. If your Musketeers are getting one shot by fireballs a lot, request those. If your Ice Spirits are always getting killed by Musketeers, maybe you want to request those, something like that. Anyways, I hope you learned a lot from this video and enjoyed it. As a reminder, if you have any feedback on what type of content you'd like on this channel or anything I could be doing better, let me know in the comments.